You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast for our 6-match IPL extravaganza. It was Easter over the UK. It was Easter over the world this weekend. So we took a break to honour our Lord Saviour. And now we're back. And we've got loads to talk about. Absolutely loads. I think every team in the IPL is going to get some action on this show. And we've got to squeeze it into an hour, so we better get going quickly. I am joined by Ross Legg. How are you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I'm pretty devastated, if I'm perfectly honest. The fact that England now need to replace Pope is very, very difficult ahead of what's going to happen. So I thought I'd get in there before you, Max.
Got some good news for you, Ross. We have a new opener for England, don't we? Rayan Ahmed, for those who haven't been aware, has been promoted to open the batting in the County Championship, hit a swashbuckling 50 and followed it up with a ton, playing some interesting shots. So it doesn't matter. Step aside, Popey boy. Crawley down to 3. Rayan Ahmed opening the batting. England's problem solved.
All aboard
there we are.
The Rayan Ahmed bus.
The non sequitur that the audience was waiting for, I think. There, boys, we've got 6 matches. We're going to be doing today's game, yesterday's game, the 2 on Sunday, the 2 on Saturday. So stay tuned to the end, basically, because the good games will be in the final third of the show. Before we get going, though, a reminder to everyone to click like and subscribe, whichever platform you are listening or watching on. Why don't you go a step further? You could recommend us to a friend. You know, take the show link that you're watching now, put it in your WhatsApp group, your cricket WhatsApp group, share it around, say these boys are fantastic. Or words to that effect. Get the word going. And you could sign up to become a Patreon, patreon.com/thecricketpod for some bonus content and access to our Discord channel. Max, we'll start with today's game. It was between Delhi and Lucknow. What happened?
Oh, the big one, Delhi v Lucknow. It had some way to go to match the excitement of the reverse fixture in Delhi, this one, and it fell some way short of matching the excitement of this fixture, but it was no less important for both sides, regardless. Delhi looking to put one foot firmly in the playoffs with a win. LSG looking to fend off the resurgent Mumbai Indians to in that race for the final playoff spot. And it was Delhi who came out on top quite comprehensively, despite a fairly good start for Lucknow, opening the batting, an 87-run opening partnership, setting them on their way. But it was a little bit the kind of LSG performance that we feared might happen when we first previewed Lucknow Super Giants. That once their top 3 had been and gone, they were in a bit of trouble, and their bowling was not good enough to back things up, and so it proved with there just being enough runs to spare for King Legend to notch up his 40th 50 in the IPL and his 5,000th run in the IPL, being the fastest man in games. Just to clarify, in games, definitely not deliveries, to reach the 5,000 run milestone. On top of 400s as well. So nearly half of his runs that he's ever scored in the IPL have been in a 50 or a century, which is pretty staggering. So I think to start this bit off, I would like to offer some love for a man that is much maligned on this podcast sometimes for the way he goes about constructing his innings, because he's damn good, whatever we say.
Tell you who isn't good. Flop of the season,
Pant.
Rishabh Pant. Yeah. Another duck. Another duck for him. I have to say, fellas, I am in the running, not just for flop of the year prediction, but for best prediction, I think, in podcast history. I'm going to throw that out there.
For this
Debate
particular shout.
Yeah, to debate that. I think.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's. I think
big
it's fairly,
prediction. I
think
nailed
it's
it.
fairly easy in the world of flop picking to look at who was the most expensive player and be like, they're going to flop. So I don't know. Jury's out on that one for me.
He's flopping so hard.
Oh, I mean,
like
I'm not denying that. There's no there's no denying that. But to call it the greatest shout in the history of the podcast.
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know
I
what
did
you're
call
going with.
CSK winning the IPL last season, and I've called Gujarat Titans winning it this season. So back to back IPL
Yeah.
triumphs. We were
Save
pretty
it for
good.
the end, lads. Save it for the
They're not.
roundup show.
There's a 1 in 10 chance of that happening. There's more than a 1 in 10 chance of Rishabh Pant being absolutely preposterously horrendous. Like not just like worst value for money, like a heroically bad season. Heroically bad. He's been awful.
What is extra stupendous about today's performance is that he managed to get a duck despite hiding himself at number 7. Which is, I mean, it's a complete dereliction of duty, isn't it? As captain in a side that's got off to a good start and then gone into a tricky period, and you've gone, you know what, you lot can all have a go, and I'm just gonna sit here at number 7 and pretend I don't exist. And I suppose the only shock for me is that he didn't send in the Lord above him, because that would have been funny.
Yeah,
He'd have gone all in there, wouldn't he?
I could have understood it if it was a side, I want to come in a little bit later on. But, I mean, nobody chooses Abdul Samad ahead of Rishabh Pant going in, do they?
Rishabh Pant does.
How low does your self-esteem need to be for you to be like, no, that guy's better than me? It's brutal at Lucknow. But do you know what, lads? I am glad they lost. I hate Lucknow.
Wow.
They shouldn't do well. It's the whole season has wound me up. But I'm glad they're losing, and I'm glad it opens the door for other people to come back into the tournament, the likes of the Mumbai Indians, get themselves onto 10 points and reopen this IPL, because they're out the place. Lucknow. I don't like where they play cricket. I don't like the ground they play at. I don't like the people they've picked to play cricket, and I don't like the approach they take to go about their cricket. So, all in all, they're ticking all the wrong boxes for me.
You know what else I don't like about them, Ross? I don't like them lying to me. We were promised at the weekend the return of Mayank Yadav, and someone needs to tell the Lucknow coaching staff that Prince Yadav is a different person, and he's a lot less good at cricket, especially catching. He's very bad at catching.
That might be the worst drop I've ever seen. People who haven't seen it.
I didn't see it.
Well, it was right at the end of the game. I think most people will have switched off. Akshar Patel goes for a Yahoo. It gets chipped up in the air to short third.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're not talking like skied up in the air. We're talking like as high as a 2-story house. Yeah. And it just falls on the floor. Like if it happened in under 12 cricket, like the parents would have to come and get their child off the pitch and take them home in shame.
Move schools.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Timothy's has made us take a little trip to the next town.
He's on his 7th school in his 4th different county.
So stop playing cricket, Prince.
Look, we've talked a lot about Lucknow over this season because they have in some ways been the surprise package. I mean, we touted them to finish down the bottom, and they still have a winning record after 9 games, 5 matches left. They could make playoffs. I'm sure we'll talk about them again. Let's do a bit of Delhi time, though. Max, you mentioned KL. He's quietly gone about his business very well, very effectively for Delhi. And I think he's the sort of player that really, really suits what they're going for. They're a little bit, I don't want to say old-fashioned, but they are, very bowling strong. And it kind of brings out the best in KL Rahul, doesn't it? The fact that he doesn't have to go ballistic. He can just make a very competent 57 with no risk-free shots and take his side to a comfortable victory by 8 wickets with 2.5 overs to go.
Yeah, I mean, today was vintage King Legend, wasn't it? A low total, some mild jeopardy that he was able to crush quite comprehensively. And I think the way Delhi Capitals went about the chase in general came off pretty well every time. It just looked like it snuck towards there being a moment where if a wicket falls, it all changes and the pressure could come back on. And they picked their moments beautifully. Like Digvesh didn't bother doing anything stupid until the aforementioned Yahoo that Prince Yadav dropped at the end when the game was done. Avash Khan, when he was sort of in his mojo in the middle, looking a little bit dangerous, kind of left that alone a little bit and targeted the short boundary when they needed to, when that 6 was needed. Got the boundary off Shal Thakur when he came back. They picked their moments. They made it comfortable. It was really good. King Legend did what King Legend does the whole time. And I think he's done it in a couple of different roles for Delhi as well this season. And he's done it up the order. He's done it at opening, number 3, number 4. So he's shown a bit of versatility as well, which is nice to see. Yeah. And just in general, it was
what else he did?
Performance, wasn't it?
Do you know what else he did? He showed off his comedic range earlier in the week. People who aren't IPL super stans and don't follow all the IPL Instagram accounts, Delhi released a very funny clip of Kevin Peterson talking to some of the players. One of them asks him, what does a mentor do? And Kevin Peterson sort of says, I'm not really sure. And then KL Rahul, not even in the group of players that Peterson is talking to, just sort of walks past in the background and says, mentor, isn't that the guy who goes to the Maldives for 2 weeks during the tournament? Walks off. Just fucking bodies KP.
Roasted.
I'm the big dog round here. I'm King Legend.
Ego on ego.
Yeah, I like that. I quite like the kind of rock star version of King Legend. Long hair, big beard, mugging off KP, scoring runs that are actually useful for his team. I'm warming to latter career King Legend. I think that's what I'm saying. A lot of time for that.
It must be nice coming up against that Lucknow bowling lineup as well. There's no one down that list who's going to be good enough to get King Legend out either, right? Like you're looking at that, it's just like there's a real lack of talent there. Really, Lord might get lucky. Oh, Lord Chardal Thakur. Markram's not getting him out. Avesh Khan not good enough. Ravi Bishnoi certainly not good enough. And Prince Yadav, no, thank you. An easy win for Delhi.
It's a bit like rocking up to a Saturday League game with half of your bowling attack and the other team have got a gun, and you're just like, there's no point of us even playing, is there? Like, this is going to be shit.
Yeah. I think it's sort of, we'll talk about luck now another time. We've got a lot of games to get through. Let's move on to the next one. That was yesterday's match. Max, Kolkata going down in flames yet again. Talk to us.
Yeah, well, Gujarat batting first did what Gujarat do best. Their top 3 all scored some runs. Shubman Gill got the plaudits for highest score this time, 90 or 55. Joss Buttler with 41, Sai Sudarshan with 52. They are a supreme trio when they're playing well, and they're all playing well. And it's looking quids in for Gujarat Titans with the way they are going. No one had an answer to them in that KKR bowling lineup, and it was plain sailing for them to get to 198 for 3. Kolkata kind of fell in a heap. It was very odd effort from them in response. Ramana Gurbaz was in to replace Quinton de Kock, who's failed regularly in the opening throws of the IPL this season. That didn't change anything. He was out for 1 or 4 balls. And apart from Ajinkya Rahane putting together a well-made 50, it was pretty hard to watch, to be honest. Venkaiah going nowhere, Rinku Singh going nowhere. And it was very curious as well, the way it was all approached by Kolkata when you consider they had Ankush Raghavanshi coming in at 9, which was possibly the best 9 in the history of T20 cricket. But even with impact subs, you got Rinku Singh, Andre Russell, Ramandeep Singh, Moeen Ali, and Raghavanshi coming in as your 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then you bat in the middle overs like you're chasing 111 and failing to do it. And I don't know what's going on with KKR, but they've got a little bit of work on to save their season.
I mean, there's a big conversation around, and Max, maybe we gang up on Jack on this one, that Venkaiah is more of a flop than Rishabh Pant this season.
That's not true, is it?
I'd love to back you, Ross. I really would. I haven't got it in me.
Let's hear the argument, though. Let's hear the argument, just for the sake of it.
I'm gonna need a few weeks to put it together.
Okay.
Well, I've been spending the entire season working on my Jadeja MVP argument. So
yeah, he's not having a great year. I mean, like, a lot of KKR batters are not having a great year. I wonder whether they're slightly painted into a corner at the top of the order because of what happened last year, and then that creates the Raghavanshi at 9 problem. Like Raghavanshi batted below Ramandeep, and I, in our Discord, which you can join, patreon.com/cricketpod, check show notes, I said that was a strange call, and then someone pointed out that Raghavanshi doesn't really hit any sixes, and he batted like a man who literally couldn't hit the ball in the air for most of his. Batted really well, did hit a lot of fours, but it was definitely, I think he put one that was miles down the leg side over the boundary. Might have been a top edge, we don't know. And I think that's sort of symptomatic of not really knowing how your team fits together, or maybe being sort of forced into putting people in certain positions. Like, I understand getting rid of de Kock, not having a great season, and then you have to bring in Gurbaz because you need a keeper. Can Gurbaz bat six? Probably not. So he has to open, and then you've still got this logjam. Then the Ryan's in that sort of quite successful pinch hitter role, but sometimes it won't come off. It didn't really come off yesterday. Then the rest of the team's like, oh, what do we do now? Rahane's going to blow hot and cold, I think, for you. Venki Iyer, not flop of the season, not having a good year. He averages 22.5 with a strike rate of 140. That's pretty beige, isn't it? That's like what you expect from Nihal Wadera. Like, not the guy you spent 25
not the third most
on.
expensive player of all time.
Yeah. What I thought was most interesting about this game, though, was what happened off the pitch. I don't know if either of you have seen this. I've done some, I want to say investigative journalism, but there was no journalism involved. I just read 2 articles. Someone else did the investigative journalism. I stole it. But there is beef between the commentary team and the Bengal Cricket Association. Yeah. So Simon Dahl and Harsha Bhogle have been blacklisted by the Bengali Cricket Association because they went on an online show, and Harsha Bhogle complained that the groundsman wasn't doing enough to create a home advantage, and Simon Dahl doubled down and said KKR should move out of Eden Gardens if the Bengali Cricket Association refused to make a pitch which suits them. This then led quite hilariously to Danny Morrison on air not asking any questions about the cricket at all and asking about wedding plans instead, which might have just been like IPL fanfare. Like, that sort of stuff does happen more regularly than people.
Yeah, I was going to say, and if anyone is going to be the man to do it, it's Danny Morrison. Right? That's just on brand.
What was kind of funny though is that, like, obviously the two guys, Bogle and Simon, the Bengali Cricket Association that they were like, no, we want to prepare a sporting wicket. We don't want to just do what KKR want. That's their stance. Ironically, in this match, though, they did prepare a wicket which turned loads, and Sai Kishore was like borderline unplayable when it was really, really difficult to bat. He bowled very well, by the way, like very watchable left arm spinner, lots of variety without the sort of madness of Digvesh. He's a much better bowler. And that will rile up some Digvesh fans because Digvesh just does a notebook thing, doesn't he? And his
he hasn't got the novelty factor, has he, Sai Kishore? He just bowls very competently in the right place most of the time.
Yeah. Changes his pace, and he's like changes his angles, and Dre Ross literally couldn't hit the ball. Anyway, back to the main story. It's a great situation where basically everyone is wrong. Like, Bogle, Simon Dahl, they're wrong. We don't really want to see doctored wickets. Like, that's Bangladesh Premier League stuff. Come on, this is the IPL. We want to see good pitches. Manufacturing home advantage sucks. But then the Bengali Cricket Association, writing a letter to the BCCI complaining about the naughty boys on their YouTube channel. That's fucking pathetic.
Banning them from commentary and KKR games.
Come on, that is so sad. And then talking about weddings. That's sad. In fact, maybe the only people that come out of this with any credit, I think, are the BCCI, who have actually got a rule system in place which asks for the people who are the groundsmen, the curators, to prepare wickets that produce good cricket, which is a good thing. So rare win for the BCCI maybe in all of this. Anything from the game though, because I thought that was more interesting than what was actually a pretty. It was like a chicken and mushroom pie of a game. It's okay. It happened.
Chicken and mushroom pie has its place, right? And you can get very, very good chicken and mushroom pies. But I compared some cricket to a pasty a few months ago, and you thought I'd lost the plot. And here we are, full circle, talking about chicken and mushroom pie.
Well,
But,
maybe
yeah, no, it was kind of bland, wasn't it? It was like it happened, and it was over fairly quickly into the back innings. Gujarat Titans, I think they're that kind of side that, yeah, they're sort of, I don't know, they're not that exciting because they're just really good. They don't do like blasting sixes everywhere. You just sit there and, like, if you're a cricketing purist, you love it. I think Gujarat Titans are the T20 team of the Test aficionado. That's where I'd put them. Really classy strokes. Sudarshan Gill, Joss Butler. If you don't like T20 cricket, then Gujarat Titans are the team you support. And KKR were kind of the opposite, but in free fall, they'd got it all wrong. Like you said with the Raghavanshi thing, like they're sort of backed into a corner by not having a backup wicketkeeper. Or at least a domestic one.
If only they'd had a hint of that happening in previous seasons.
I know, right? They did it last year. And you're like, well, at least there's a mega auction and they can resolve that issue. And I don't know, maybe they should just give Rinku Singh some gloves and see if he can do it, right?
For some reason in my head, I think that Rahane's kept wicket before. I don't know why my brain is telling me that, but, that's probably not true. What I do like is the fact that they are kind of eschewing overseas players, really. They've kind of decided, no, we've got kind of elite Joss Butler. We've got elite Rashid Khan. Yeah. If we need him, Rutherford will play. But Kurtz's not bowling. We'll bring in Ishant Sharma. Thank you very much.
That is a bit mad.
And then, Washington Sundar's still getting plenty of cricket. So it's a very interesting team, Gujarat Titans. They do go against the grain, but it seems to be working. And Max, that trio at the top, it's delightful.
Yeah, I think also with Gujarat, we are a little bit being robbed of what we'd hoped to see in terms of Losri Siraj and Losri Krishna. They've both actually been quite good.
Really,
and there
good.
is still time. Yeah. There is still time.
I'm sure that the playoffs are yet to come, and that's when I think that's really when Siraj is going to shine.
Breakdown City.
Yeah. Boys, we're going to take a break. Then we're going to continue with Sunday's games. People in the YouTube comments already calling for us to stick a fork in our discussions of a game that won't live long in the memory.
Yeah,
so
fair
back
enough.
In a moment.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Cricket Podcast. A reminder to click like and subscribe on whichever platform you are listening or watching on. And if you're on YouTube, why don't you say hello in the comments? Chicken Banana has asked, guys, do you have Tetley tea in the UK? I think that's an unequivocal yes. I probably, we didn't invent tea, but I think Tetley is a British company. Max, you look like a man.
Tetley, what's happened with Tetley is the British have taken tea and they've made it as bad as it could possibly be. Is what happened with Tetley.
Yeah.
Wow,
it is a bad tea. Yeah, we do. There are some good teas in the UK. Tetley, not one of them. Ross, what's your favourite tea?
Iced tea.
That's a good answer. It's a good answer. We've only got Ross for a few more minutes, so let's get into some cricket. Chennai Super Kings v Mumbai Indians, Max.
Yeah, should we get through this one nice and quickly? Because not
an El Clasico
would also cover this one. CSK batted first. They're still playing T20 cricket like it's 2008. Their new opening partnership with Sheikh Rashid and Rachin Ravindra didn't do anything. Ayush Matra, though, 17-year-old into the side, 32 or 15. It was a good weekend for teenagers or alleged teenagers. And then CSK picked it up a bit. Jadeja moving up to 4 with 53 or 35. What a stupendous innings from him. And Shivam Dubé finally breaking some shackles for the first time this season. 50 or 32. More Shivam Dubé-like than we have seen so far. But that was only enough to get them to 176 for 5, which is not very good. And Mumbai Indians chase it down for the loss of 1 wicket with almost a quarter of their innings left because it wasn't a very good score and CSK is shit.
Tell you what, though, Ross, Rohit Sharma, he's off flop watch. I feel like motivation from the Cricket Podcast has helped.
Yeah.
76 off 45. Good for him.
Yeah, me and my brother were talking about this, and he's got the dream gig at the moment, hasn't he? He literally sits there with his feet up for at least half the game, and then goes, "I can open the batting," and people don't question how many runs he gets. People just don't do it. He's just like, no, he's just been given an A+ contract with the BCCI. He's on the gravy train already. He's definitely over the hill, and yet he goes, "Do you know what? I'm going to pull out one out the bag in El Clasico." Great life at this point in time. It was a really easy win, but I do have questions around Hardik Pandya's captaincy, lads. The bowling I was watching the game. His selection and bowling options didn't quite make sense to me, and it was almost like he was giving CSK a bit of a chance when he gave Ashwani Kumar another over, even though Santner had another over left. Will Jacks could have bowled. I know there's Dubes kind of in play, and then Hardik himself had 2 overs. All seemed a little bit confused, but they come away with a pretty routine victory ultimately, didn't they? So, but point for improvement, I think, if they want to go a little bit further in this tournament.
I didn't think it was any more confusing than the CSK muddle. Again, the thing that really gets me here is Jamie Overton actually bowling. Like Jamie Overton last year in the T20 Blast, I don't think bowled a ball, and I think
He was injured.
he might have had an injury. Yeah, I think the season before that also didn't really bowl very much.
No.
He was not at T20 Blast level. He's definitely not opening the bowling, and if he's bowling, he's not bowling 4 overs very often.
Yeah, I mean, he's behind the pecking order to like Dan Worrell, Gus Atkinson, and Chris Jordan, Sam Curran, and Tom Curran.
Yeah, they have Sam Curran if they wanted Sam Curran.
Yeah,
they literally
right.
got one of those players. Like,
Right?
I don't understand how they've ended up in that situation. Not really a Jamie Overton problem. I think Jamie Overton probably deserves a place in an IPL team, just not as an opening bowler. He's like he's a middle order hitter.
Yeah, and if you're going to bowl him,
a little bit,
bowl at someone's head for a few overs.
It feels like a pace matchup bowler. That's what he kind of feels like. Yeah. Oh, this guy definitely doesn't like the short stuff. Like actually, we can do something here.
It'd be really good against Shivam Dubey, for example.
Really weird. And then Patarana, like I mean, this game, Dhoni's out there. He's captain. He knows that they haven't got very many runs. He knows that they're gonna need to take some wickets. Like the star overseas bowler or star overseas seamer bowls 10 balls. I mean, they go around the parks. Maybe Dhoni was right not to use him earlier, but you would think like, so what's the point of Patarana in a game like this if he isn't going to be bowling? You don't have to use him in the power play, but if he isn't bowling by the 8th over of the game, like what's the?
I thought this about Noor Ahmed though. Noor Ahmed is CSK's best weapon, and yet they've underutilized him. I think.
Yeah, I think
they've basically given up, haven't they? Like there's no point in trying anymore. So let's just throw some things around and see what happens. I mean, I think Nathan Ellis is probably unlucky not to be playing in this side as well, but that's the Patarana role. It's all a bit weird. What you can be sure of though is that Sam Curran will come in and play a few games and be mint because I've just swapped him out in our Discord fantasy cricket. Patreon.com/cricketpod. So it's time for Sam Curran to rise again.
My Inter Milan team is not going well, so I've brought in the Lord for a bit of luck.
Crick Info in the chat has said he's literally never seen a good English bowler in the IPL, as though Jofra Archer isn't a real person.
Yeah, was the MVP as well. I think it is
arguably not English, just stolen.
Or yeah. So well, plays for England. Lived in England for a very long time. Yeah. Anyway, aside from that, Mumbai, they're looking pretty good. 4 wins, 4 losses, 3 wins in a row. They are within touching distance of RCB, Punjab, and Lucknow. Should those teams be scared, Ross?
I think so. I think Mumbai Indians have been also a little bit unlucky in a couple of the games. We said when they in the opening 3 or 4, just on the wrong side of a couple of results. And you always need to be wary of a Mumbai narrative arc, because we know the rich tapestry of the IPL gears in certain favour to certain champions of yesteryear, and perhaps the star-studded Galacticos are due another renaissance. And they also know how to play cricket a little bit better than some of the teams above them. So I would be a little bit worried, because Punjab Kings have kind of self-inflicted penis punching capability, as do Lucknow, as do RCB. So yeah, it's a little bit. I'd be concerned if I was a RCB.
They can't all fuck up though, can they? Like, that's the thing.
They only need two of them to.
But which one will? Which one will? That is the question.
At this point, they don't really need Lucknow to mess it up either, do they? Because with a game in hand, one win takes them above Lucknow. So they set their sights on RCB and PBKs, and yeah, they're well within a chance of one of those doing something silly. It's classic Mumbai, isn't it? Slow starters. It happens every year. Why? Why does it happen every year? Just start less badly, and then you'll be fine. You won't be in this mess. It's very odd.
And you're already starting to see some of those behaviours creep in to someone like the selections, for example, like Xavier Bartlett, for example, opening the bowling for Punjab Kings. I don't understand why that's happening.
It's like for like with Lockie Ferguson, Ross.
Like for like.
To it.
I enjoyed Jack's point of going, I thought Xavier Bartlett was a spinner. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
You're getting him mixed up with Cooper Connolly.
He's just an inconsequential cricketer. Like, it's
One of the filler
weird.
players.
Look, should we move on?
Yeah, he turns up in the blast every now and then, and you're like, well, hopefully he won't be terrible.
Look, we will move on. We've got Punjab,
we will,
RCB,
because we've got it's another uneventful game coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll do it then.
Yeah,
Summarise it, Max.
Yeah, the aforementioned
or is that the summary?
Yeah, the aforementioned self-penis punches that Ross so deftly alluded to of Punjab Kings and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Punjab batted first, were bad. They started quite well. Again, Priyansh Arya and Prabhsimran Singh got them off to a decent start, 40 off the first 4 overs. Priyansh Arya's second or the third, I think, or in the top 5 for strike rates this year. He's been good. He's been good. Shreyas Iyer is second for strike rates this year. He was less good in this game, 6 off 10, and yeah, it was all a bit slow in the middle overs. Marco Jansen, Shashak Singh with some contributions, but they never got going. They were tied up. Krunal Pandya and Suyash Sharma, spin twins, tying up Punjab and restricting them to 157 for 6. And when you have a man called Virat Kohli in your team, that is child's play. And so it proved. 73 or 54. And a very comfortable amble home for RCB. Didn't get out of second gear. Didn't need to. Comfortable win. Quickly erasing the demons of the reverse fixture that we've just seen between those two. And yeah, a good win for RCB. Good 2 more points on the board and keep them in the hunt.
It was really King Kohli, wasn't it, as well? Like, he was at full swagger. He even had a little bit of afters with Shreyas Iyer, if you saw that at the end, where they were kind of pushing each other around it. So there was a little bit of metal in this game, which we're very big fans of. Max, in the chat, Kevin's highlighted that Liam Livingstone finally dropped. Yeah, it's not been a great 2 years for Liam Livingstone. Is he washed? Is he washed?
Is he washed? It's I don't know. We do need to kind of consider that as a possibility, don't we? Because and it kind of happened around. He got injured, didn't he? A couple of years ago, and he came back looking like, I don't know, a tree trunk. Supposedly he'd been in the gym loads, and yeah, just not really come back to life since then, has he? He's not been the same player. He's still got the issues against spin, but he's not been taking down pace in the same old way. His bowling's not really changed much, but it's not his primary asset, is it? There's always been questions around him in these sorts of conditions. So yeah, there's a lot of hype that he's brought with him and lived up to at times, but We're still waiting for those moments, aren't we? That's the whole point with Liam Livingstone. You buy in because he'll win you a game or two, but he's not won a game on his own for long enough now that RCB have said bye-bye.
And yeah, as the Caribbean Cricket
Can't
Podcasters
blame
say, you win tournaments with a West Indian in your team. So brought in Romario Shepherd. But I'm going to leave you with this, gents. Marcus Stoinis, he can do no wrong at Punjab Kings. They love that man, don't they? Absolutely love him. So long live the Stoin.
Long live the Stoin. All right, Ross, we will see you later. Max and I will finish summarising the key points from this game. Max, I think the most interesting angle is to talk about these games as a back-to-back pairing. What I've made myself really big on YouTube, which is quite funny. What did we learn over the two legs? Which of these two teams is going to bungle it v Mumbai Indians? The chasing monster.
Yeah, I mean, well, based on the two games we've seen, I think we've probably learned that there's a 50-50 chance of either of them bungling it, or perhaps maybe there's a 33% chance of RCB bungling, 33% chance of Punjab bungling, 33% chance that they both do it, and a remaining 1% chance that neither of them do, because each game in this mini series has shown frailties of each, hasn't it? In the first game, it was a pretty pathetic performance from RCB in the rain, in really in tough circumstances. To be fair, they they were pushed into a corner of how they had to play it, and it all fell in a heap. And Punjab got over the line, but not without a few meanderings along the way. And then in response, Punjab, they fell in a heap, and RCB looked fairly competent. So again, it's that RCB at home issue, which is a problem because they've got to do a bit more of that in the back end of the IPL. So unless they turn that home form around, it could be RCB that we see dropping out. But yeah, Punjab, I don't know, they still flatter to deceive at times. I'm not ruling out a double disaster.
Yeah, I think after watching them twice back to back against each other, I think they're obviously both competing for third and fourth. Yeah, but they're definitely flawed teams relative to the two teams at the top of the table. I think that Punjab are probably the more flawed team.
I think I'd probably agree.
I think I'm on record as saying I don't love their bowling, and they did bowl really well immediately after I said that. So Punjab fans, that's good. I'm saying it again, and you're about to win 2 matches thanks to your bowling.
Yeah, it was pre-Lockie though, wasn't it?
But I'm also, I think maybe we were slightly overwhelmed with how well they batted in the first half of this tournament, and perhaps we've seen the best of a number of their players. Watch this space. I think there's still room for one of them to really make a statement this season and to build on the first half. But I think you kind of need Shreyas Iyer to do what he's done already again, or Arya to do what he's done already again. And I think the chances of that are probably not super high, and they don't really have a star overseas player. I mean, like Josh Inglis is fine.
It's not,
it's fine.
Not star-studded on
but
paper,
they're not,
is it?
They're not greats of the T20 world, are they? They're like, oh, I'm not disappointed that he's turned up to play for my team, but I'm also not now expecting him to do something brilliant. Like, if you compared these teams side by side, Stoinis v Tim David, for example, in that kind of innings-ending role, I'm more excited about Tim David, I think. That's where I'm coming at.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, I get that, and then you've got a few players who you could argue are probably overperforming. Like, you know, you spoke about what you might expect from Noel Wadera, and he's had a few fairly good moments that you're not banking on throughout the season. And yeah, Priyansh Iyer has come in. He's been really exciting, but he's still a guy who's just come from basically nowhere. And perhaps Imran Singh's got a small body of work, but still some ways to go. And then Shreyas Iyer, like we said, like he's surprised us all with how he's played, but it's not based on everything we've seen from Shreyas Iyer in the last 4 years of him playing T20 cricket. So maybe they have oversold themselves and they'll be crashing back to normality. But maybe they are just as good as they've been. We will find out in the back end of the IPL.
Cool. On that note, we'll take a break, and then we will get to Saturday's fixtures between Delhi and Gujarat and Lucknow and Rajasthan Royals. We've got some repeat teams. Interesting. I said we were going to do all 10 teams. There's no Sunrisers, is there? Sunrisers weekend off. So that's a shame. Be back in a moment.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Cricket Podcast. A final reminder that you can support the show by signing up as a Patreon. A big thanks to all of our Patreons who make us good. You make us do show. You winners. Well done. Lucknow Super Giants v Rajasthan Royals, Max. That was the afternoon game on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thriller.
It was a humdinger. I don't know if I can call it a classic just because of the disarray in which it ended once again for Rajasthan Royals, but it was an absolute thriller of a game. Lucknow batting first, and they put on a decent, if not inspiring, 180 for 5. Aidan Markram chipping in at the top, Aish Badoni with a 50, and then Abdul Samad at the end going ballistic with 30 off 10 to fire Lucknow into a defendable position. Poor old Sandeep Sharma getting the treatment at the end, and it looked over. Jack Suravanshi in for Rajasthan Royals, the 13/14/15-year-old, etc., with a good contribution of 34 from 20. Jaiswal, though, while not his all-encompassing best, with a pretty healthy 74 to basically get Rajasthan into a winning position, right? They're 160 for 3 with 2 and a bit overs to go. Should be child's play, but then Rian Parag is out. Dhruv Jurel doesn't take them home. Shimron Hetmeyer is out. Shubham Dubey also doesn't take them home. They didn't even need that many runs in the last over. They needed 3 runs off the last 2 balls. What happened? What happened?
I don't know. The same thing that happened in the last game, except last game you could explain it because Mitchell Starc happened.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that can happen. Mitchell Starc can happen. I don't think Avesh Khan is a thing that can happen. So I think the blame for this has to lie squarely at the feet of the Rajasthan Royals. It's a really, really bad way to lose again. Both of those games, they were fairly big favourites going into the final over. 70-30, maybe in this game even a little bit more. At least in the first one, they managed to get it to a super over. This time was kind of just pathetic. The answer is probably a little bit more complicated than they should have just hit the ball. Like, if you are going to consistently put players who aren't excellent into positions that are extremely high leverage in terms of you actually getting points on the board, you're going to see them fail fairly regularly. It's not like a choking thing. Dhruv Jurel just isn't that good. Shubham Dubey isn't that good. I don't mind Hetmeyer. I think Hetmeyer's decent, but he's not peak Andre Russell or something, is he? Like, he's going to fail. And between the three of them,
He's quite
You've
a
got-
specific role as well, isn't he, Shimron Hetmar? You know,
Yeah.
he's not super versatile.
Yeah, well, not in the IPL. I mean, it's very, very, very rigid in terms of how they use him. So they got that, and then they've got Hasaranga and Archer coming in after that. And does that affect how Jaiswal plays? 'Cause I think some blame really has to be levelled at guys up the order as well. I mean, Jaiswal's done this sort of 2 matches in a row, scored a decent volume of runs at not a speed that's taking any pressure off the pretty poor 5, 6, 7. And we used to say this about KL Rahul all the time, particularly back in his Punjab days, that like, yeah, it's true they don't bat very deep, but King Legend isn't doing them any favours by putting him in a position where they need to score at 10 and over. And Jaiswal's the same here. Like, I understand they don't bat very deep, and I understand he's top scored and he has moved the game to a position where they should be winning. But like, you sometimes you have to look at your teammates, and if they aren't very good, you have to be the one that takes responsibility for scoring those 74 runs off 42 balls and making their life a little bit easier so that they can fuck around and run each other out and hit the ball up in the air and like bang into each other and all
Give him
sorts.
a free pass.
And you'll still win the game. You'll still win the game. So it's like a combination thing here. I think it's just bad batting all round, with maybe exceptions going to the Child and Rian Parag. That's a fair effort, isn't it? 40 off 26 balls. Like, I don't think you come out of that with any blame. But
no,
like Jaiswal there, at best, he's not hurting your team's chances of winning. Like at very best, that innings is neutral.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I suppose one of the ways to test that is like the impact stuff that Cricinfo do, which sometimes isn't that reliable, but sometimes it is. And he scored 74 runs, and the impact runs they've given him is 73.22. So I think that assessment's pretty much bang on, isn't it? It's like, when you score 74, you'd like to think that you'd taken more out of the chunk of the target than that. So like, it's neutral is a fair way of describing that. And from your premier batter, who's opening and is your star player to all intents and purposes, you probably want to be doing a little bit better than doing it off 52 balls. But I can't in good conscience put too much blame on Jaiswal for it, because
I can.
It was an atrocious final, like 9 balls, even for players who aren't maybe not top of their game in T20 cricket. Like someone like Dhruv Jarrell should not be struggling to finish things off like that against the bowling that LSG have as well. Like, you can say that Rajasthan Royals don't have a particularly good like 5, 6, 7, which is absolutely fair, but also the bowling they're coming up against is probably about their level. They should be fine. It was it was awful.
I'm not saying Jaiswal has cost them the game. It's not like I don't know if you saw Babar Azam 10 off 20 balls in the power play, which he recovered to 41 or 40 by the time he was out in the PSL. It's not like that bad.
Still horrific.
But if you look at what Rajasthan are designed to do, not helped by their captain Samson not being available, like that is a big loss. They are designed to be a team where their top 3 or 4 score 60 plus, 70 plus % of their runs, and they have to do it quickly. So the best in class at the moment are Gujarat Titans. If you have a look at what their players have done in the last week, Sai Sudarshan, I think, has got an 86 off 55 balls, so scoring faster than Jaiswal in this game, takes the pressure off everyone else. Great, they win the game. Butler's got a 97 off 55 balls, even better. And Shubman Gill got 90, and we didn't even talk about this earlier in the show, got 90 today off the same number of balls. That's what you need to be doing if you're Jaiswal. Like, it's a very fair criticism. I think I'm leveling at a player who's integral to Rajasthan Royals being successful. They're paying him a lot of money. Like, he's the whole bag of sandwiches for this team. It's a tough position for him to be in. He is a bit of a lone ranger. There's not a lot of backup. Rian Parag's giving him a little bit. I don't think you can be
When
relying
you're,
on a 15-year-old. He's done okay, the 15-year-old, but he's not Samson.
Yeah.
It is a tough, difficult. I have sympathy for Jaiswal's position, but like also, you put lipstick on the pig with this.
They need
with that
need
innings.
more from him. They need more from him, but I don't. It doesn't necessarily mean it's all his fault. I guess is the conclusion.
I'm saying
mean,
it's at
Rajasthan
least
Royals
half his fault.
maybe-
I'm really in on
At
this.
least
Like I think.
half.
Sorry, I spoke over you and then blew up my internet by shouting really loudly. What did you say?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, there's obviously some blame to lay at the feet of Jaiswal. I was going to say, is a Rajasthan Royals team set up this way maybe more cut out for setting the pace rather than chasing when you've got that weaker a finish to your side? We've seen them fail
Potentially
twice now to chase down scores from winning positions, but could just be
I think I'm coming to the conclusion that they're just not very good.
not very good.
Yeah, like
we didn't rate him, did we? Let's be honest.
yeah,
That was with Hampton.
They're good players, on top tier good players. Jaiswal being in that category at the moment. Not saying that he can't play differently, or one day he will have a good season or whatever. Like these things can change, but 2025 iteration of Jaiswal is like, he's good. He's not great. Samson being injured all the time, really not helping the party. Rian Parag, again, good, not great. And then you've got the middle order, which is poor. And then with the ball, I get what you're saying. Like maybe the prospect of facing Archer and Tikshada and Sandeep Sharma and Hasaranga, maybe not so much Deshpande, maybe the prospect of facing them with 180 on the board is a little bit more difficult. You've got fewer options in terms of how you negotiate them, but I think it's an ask. Should we move on? We've only got 10 minutes left. We're going to have to rattle through the last game. It was Saturday morning, Delhi Capitals v Gujarat Titans, top of the table clash. Maybe this will be the qualifier. Matt, is that qualifier? I think it's called qualifier, isn't it?
Qualifier 1.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Qualifier 1. Yeah. Talk to me.
Well, it's there are kind of two theories, aren't there, to how you can construct an innings as a team in T20 cricket. You can go for the supposed England approach of, if everybody comes in, faces 20 balls and scores 40, then job done. That was the Delhi approach, and pretty much the top 6 all came in and scored between 20 and 40, and they did it reasonably quickly, and they got 203 for 8, and it was a jolly good effort, even with Prashad Krishna picking up another 4 wickets. And Ishant Sharma, I mean, we kind of joked about him coming in instead of Joel Coetzee, but he took 1 for 19 off 3. That's a pretty good effort from him. And they were coming up against the Gujarat side who go down the other route, which is get some people who are really good at cricket and get them to bat for ages really serenely. And they did that, and they won. But that doesn't tell the full story, because Rahul Tewatia got to come in and hit 11 off 3 at the end to make it extra comfortable, where it maybe could have been a dicey finish. But yeah, Joss Buttler, as you mentioned in that previous game, 97 off 54. Siddharthan 36 to open up. Shafane Rutherford scoring a slow but okay 40, and a little bit of icing on the Tewatia cake. It was it was good from Gujarat. It was really impressive.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
By what Rajasthan aren't doing. Gujarat are doing what Rajasthan are trying to do. You can have Shafane Rutherford, who is nobody's idea of an elite middle order player. He's perfectly acceptable. He's perfectly fine, but he's nobody. Nobody is thinking. He's in the Stoinis camp, the English camp. Like that, you're not disappointed if they get off the bus for your team, but you're probably not getting Rutherford's name on your
build a
shirt.
team around him.
And he's had an off day here, massive off day, 43 off 34. You're hoping when he comes in that he's going to take your team to 220, and he doesn't do that. He actually significantly reduces the number of runs you should have got. But doesn't matter, because the damage has been done, or is being done by the guys who you're paying the big bucks to do the damage. Butler is having another pretty good year, isn't he, Max? What's he up to now? 356 runs in 8 matches, averaging 71 with a strike rate of 165.
Yeah, third in the race.
This is vintage Butler. I mean, like statistically, average and strike rate wise, and it'll probably come down a little bit. Like, these are numbers that are. It's unlikely you'll be able to maintain that into infinity. But he's having statistically his best year in the IPL. Probably. I know he had the 800 run year, but like, if you just look at the key numbers there, the average and the strike rate, they're he's some way beyond even that.
I suppose it highlights your point, doesn't it? Because in that top 10 in the race for the orange cap, there are 3 players in that Gujarat side: Sai Siddharth, Josh Butler, and Shubman Gill, and they're all doing it at strike rates of 150 plus. Josh Butler up there 165.5, which is pretty insane. And then Jaiswal's there at number 9, decent average, but he's down at 140. Now 140 is not bad, but yeah, I guess that extra 10 does make a big difference. And there are 3 of him in the Gujarat side, which helps a bit as well.
Well, I'd say, like, not to take the shine off Gujarat, I think they are the best team in the tournament so far. They played the best cricket. I do think that we're probably seeing the best of those 3 players. Like, they are humans; they will fail. Like, it's not some foolproof plan to beat cricket that Gujarat have developed here. They've gone with a strategy. The strategy has paid off big time, better than you would expect at this point in the season. Maybe it will continue for the rest of the year, but like, you would expect this to correct slightly. What we've seen though, it's excellent. Butler, Max, I think he's into the top 20 run scorers in IPL history now. He's about 72 shy of 4,000 IPL runs. If you have a look at the people above him on the list, firstly, lots of them have played like double the number of matches. So he's about 300 runs behind Gambhir, and he's played 115. He's got 39 matches to get the 300 runs he needs to overtake Gambhir, which I think he will probably do. And he's got about 100 matches to get to Uthappa's 4,952 runs. I don't think he'll play another 100 matches, but like if he did, he's got that long to, I think, break into the top 10. If you have a look at career strike rates, there's one man now above him on that runs list with a higher strike rate. Can you name them?
Chris Gale?
It's not. He's overtaken. His strike rate this year has put him above Chris Gale in strike rate terms. It's AB de Villiers.
AB was the second. Yeah.
Yeah, like really, really establishing serious big dog credentials.
Yeah, that is iconic, isn't it? That is IPL legend status.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's better than de Villiers here. I think you probably say
to be even close in that conversation is quite something.
Really, really, very, very impressive stuff from Gujarat, and you have to wonder why Rajasthan
let him go. Yeah,
decided to move on from that. Did we learn anything? If this is the qualifier matchup, did we learn here that Gujarat are better? Did we learn that there's things Delhi could do differently? Is there anything of that ilk that we should be considering?
I don't know. I think Delhi gave a pretty good account of themselves, really. Gujarat having home advantage, they put up a good score, and Gujarat chased it down comfortably in the end. But like I said, some of that was thanks to Rahul Tewatia blasting a 6 and a 4 in the final over to deny Josh Butler the chance to notch up another 100, and it needed a special performance from a special player to get there. So I think if I'm Delhi, I'm looking at it and thinking, we've got a good set of players here who can hold their own against one of the better performing sides in the competition, and it was a really good game as well. So I think if anything, it just sets us up for what could be a really a nice finish to the season if the two can keep their form up and their momentum going.
Yeah, they're quite good fun teams to watch. I think. I think what I would say, I think it's a really, really special effort from Gujarat to chase 200 against this Delhi bowling lineup.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of talk in this IPL about Shreyas Iyer and the work he's done at Punjab Kings. I think a lot of that is deserved. I think there has been a lot less talk about how Akshar Patel has organised his Delhi bowlers and how they've worked together.
Yeah. Well, you could
and
look
I
at
know-
today, actually, because I mean, I didn't mention it because we were trying to get through the game because it was fairly dull and we had a lot to get through. But, Akshar Patel bowled himself out within the first 8 overs, which was, obviously highly unusual. But he's basically hiding himself from Nicholas Pooran. Like, he's unusable if Nicholas Pooran is at the crease for Lucknow. And you know that's their trump card. That's how they win the game. And then on top of that, you're thinking, well, left arm spin against Mitch Marsh opening the batting. Not a bad idea, and that tied him up a bit. He didn't really get going, did he, Mitch Marsh? And then in the middle overs, he used his paces to good effect with I think slow bouncers were kind of the order of the day today. It was kind of Stuart Broad T20 season with that. So I mean, they're obviously thinking quite hard about how they use their resources, and I mean, we can sit here and look at it and fairly easily work out what they were probably going for with that, but it doesn't mean to say that it's a usual thing for an IPL side to do, right? So often it's just play by numbers captaincy. We'll chuck in an over a spin in the power play, see if we can nick a wicket, and then go to spin and over 7, and that kind of thing. So it shows that they're thinking about the resources they've got and how they can best get out of them. And it's we talk about matchups and people overdo matchups a lot, don't they? But I think this was actually using them quite smartly and getting it right. So yeah, I'm impressed with how they've worked, Delhi, especially given was Akshar Patel always first choice to be captain? Supposedly King Legend turned it down. Maybe that's all for the best for Delhi.
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe as well, we should consider that this is part of the Kevin Peterson master plan.
I'm not ruling it out.
Cool. Well, we'll let our audience ruminate on that possibility. We will be back later in the week. We did it. This show's on a weird day, so the next show will probably be on a weird day as well. It might be on Wednesday, it might be on Thursday, it might be on Friday. We will be back.
Stay tuned. Subscribe and you'll find out.
Yeah, if you click subscribe, it just comes to you automatically. That's the beauty of the subscribe button. Click it right now. Get your phone out. Click subscribe, and when we do the show, you'll hear the show.
It's best way to anticipate our chaos.
And you will smile. Bye-bye.